Welcome to AMS Radio. I am joined by Rick Bacon, CEO of Aqua Metrology Systems. We'll be discussing what to consider when investing in online instrumentation.
Thanks very much, Carter. I'm glad to be here. This is a really important discussion. Online instrumentation is a relatively new technology. Some people have already adopted it, but many others are looking at it. And I think based on our experience of nearly 10 years in deploying this technology around the world, we've come to understand some of the challenges and concerns that potential clients have when it comes to considering this type of purchase. So really looking forward to this discussion.
Very good. Well, okay, let's assume that an organization has already decided it needs to invest in online instrumentation. In your experience, what would you say are the critical questions that they should be asking their vendors?
So I think the first question that always gets answered, so let's take it up front, is the issue of accuracy and reliability compared to laboratories. It's a fairly obvious question, but I think that what sometimes gets missed is the belief that laboratory-based methods are some form of holy grail. In fact, most EPA-approved methods for detection of contaminants concern only require an accuracy and reliability plus or minus 25%. And so even though you may get a discrepancy with an online instrumentation result, it doesn't necessarily mean that the two are incongruous and that by definition it's the online instrument that's inaccurate. So really diving into the data and what lies behind the data, the assumptions lie behind the data when evaluating instrumentation of this type is really quite important. So, and then I think once you've got past that, the next question is one of robustness. So it's, I say many times, online instrumentation is great. It can be 200 miles away and you're getting results 24/7, 365 days of the week. That's fantastic. The problem with online instrumentation is it's 200 miles away. And what you can't have is someone having to visit that piece of instrumentation every 5 minutes because it's broken down or checking that it hasn't broken down and is reporting accurately. So the robustness of the instrumentation, ask questions about mean time to failure. Can it run 90 days without anyone having to visit it? Mean time to repair. We'll talk about service in a minute, I hope. But how long does it take for the instrument to be brought back up? Because if that data is of value, then not having it available is obviously problematic. And one of the, just following on from that, one of the critical issues for any form of instrumentation, whether it's in a laboratory or out in the field, is the issue that every sensor deteriorates in terms of its reliability over time. It's just almost a physical fact of life. Therefore, can the instrument self-calibrate and self-validate? Because if it can't, again, you're going to have to be sending someone out in a van or a truck to 200 miles away to carry out those functions. So online instrumentation without self-validation and self-calibration, in my mind, is highly problematic. And so those are probably three key things to be looking for when assessing online instrumentation.
Well, it's a lot to keep in mind, but it sounds like if you keep that foundation in mind, you might be in the right direction in your decision. So let's take this for a question. If buyers are in the midst of looking at those three issues, what, in your experience, do they tend to forget to ask with regards to online instrumentation? So
everyone focuses on the sort of the here and now. Is it accurate? Is it reliable? Etc. The thing that, but these instruments have a lifetime, 5 years, 7 years. So first question is, what are lifetime costs? You can focus on the capital, but actually there should be an ongoing service agreement, service arrangements that ensure that you do have high uptime. So having a robust service contract, very important. And then what does that contract provide for? In our business model, we provide a 5-year warranty. We don't want people having to worry about the instrument after year one. So an extended warranty really does aim to give people peace of mind. Is the instrumentation company providing data on the uptime of its machine and the mean time to repair? Because if it's not, you can't engage in a continuous improvement program with the instrumentation provider. Do they remotely monitor the performance of the analyzer? Because again, you, the client, don't want to be sending someone out 200 miles to check on it. You want the instrumentation company to be guaranteeing not only its availability, but accuracy and overall health. So is that part of the deal? Because if it's not, you're going to suffer poor accuracy, poor reliability, and maybe non-availability. And finally, I think some people get preoccupied with, we've got to change reagents, we've got to put on new calibration standards, all of that stuff. There's waste, what to do about that. And again, in our view is the client is essentially buying data. And with the data comes peace of mind. We certainly don't believe that clients should ever have to touch the machine, whether to calibrate or to validate or repair or deal with chemicals of any sort of. That's the job of the vendor. And so a full service contract should involve ensuring that the reagents are there, that are of the right quality consistently, waste is removed, and the client has total peace of mind. And those are the sort of questions that really do need to be asked when it comes to the non-capital side, if you like, of the purchase.
That's some really valuable advice. So I do have a final question for you. I've heard a lot about artificial intelligence and predictive analytics. Are there some? Is that something companies should also factor into their investment decision?
I think in a number of areas, in particular contaminants, the use of AI and predictive analytics actually can enhance the value of the data that's made available. So in the case of trihallomethanes, this is a dynamic contaminant. It starts at one level in a water treatment system, and by the time it gets to the consumer's tap, where the actual regulations apply, it can be many, many times higher. And the ability to predict in real time that level is definitely a consideration when it comes to buying that type of analyzer for trihalomethanes. If the analyzer can't provide predictive analytics, but just a frozen number at a particular point in time, it's relatively useless compared to that dynamic prediction. And the other one is lead. A lot in the press about lead. The real problem of lead is that it's not only very difficult to analyze beyond the limitations of lots of field instruments, because you need to be able to measure undissolved and dissolved lead, another question to ask of the vendor, but also it can change, and it's not so much change, but you can get sudden spikes in the presence of lead in drinking water systems. And being able to predict or anticipate that before it reaches the consumer's tap and warn them and the utility that's providing them the water so that they can take evasive action is a very important application of predictive analytics to managing the serious problem that lead poses to human health.
So your instrumentation and the choices you make can be life-changing.
Exactly. That's a very good way of putting it.
This has been some powerful information. I'm very excited to know these bits and pieces, and I appreciate you joining us today for this discussion.
Thanks very much indeed, Carter. Enjoyed it.
All right. Bye-bye. So if our listeners want to learn more, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the best way of reaching us is through info@aquametrologysystems.com.
Thank you very much.